In this video I'm going to show you some swims on the River Dove, the Upper River Trent and the Lower River Trent, and we're going to see what's involved in fishing for summer barbel. I'm also going to show you a book that I bought from a second-hand bookshop for a knockdown price. This book is by J.W. Martin, the Trent Otter, the River Trent's most famous ever fisherman, and this book is the first edition signed by him and given to a friend of his in 1897. Despite modern advances in fishing tackle, a lot of the information contained within that book is still relevant today. When chasing summer barbel, it's a good idea to fish when the river's up a bit, as this livens up the barbel and makes them search around a bit more for food and gives you more of a chance of catching them during daylight hours. Burton Mutual Angling Association control the fishing rights on this water. It's part of 9 miles of prime river dove fishing from Tutbury Weir down to where the River Dove joins the Trent. Now let's have a look at some of the spots and a look at how nice this water looks. When I fish in new water, I like to have a look at as many of the swims as I can and base up a few with a view to fishing them after dark. There aren't ever so many fish in this stretch, so I'm just throwing in a few free offerings into some prime looking swims. I've speeded up some of the video footage. This is what summer barbel fishing is all about, searching for the barbel and trying to find where they'll be for later on in the year. You're not likely to get a massive one at this time of year, as they haven't long spawned and they're quite thin. I'm now back in my main spot, seeing if anything has moved in. On my first cast after I get back, I normally hold the rod and feel for bites. It wasn't long before I was into one. I've got to keep it out of the tree branches and try and stop it getting into the rushes to my left. It's a nicely conditioned chub, just over £5. I keep working the swim, introducing more feed with the swim feeder and try to place it in the same place each cast. I carried on fishing into darkness, but I didn't get any more until my last cast, well after dark. It was a double figure barbel. Burton Mutual Angling Association also own quite a few miles of Upper Trent. A lot of it is very overgrown. As you can see, not many people have passed through here since the start of the season. This was on my visit in August. On a lot of their waters, Burton Mutual Angling Association do have excellent locked parking facilities. As is the case with this stretch here, I'm parked about 50 metres from where I'm fishing. Well, this is unbelievable. It's the middle of August and I've got to make my own barbel swim, but it does make the fishing really interesting as I'm fishing for fish that haven't been caught in a while. Now let's have a look at some more of the stretch. If you haven't subscribed already, please don't forget to subscribe. There's my father, Patric Kyte, who's 85 this year, trotting with his centre pin and homemade quill floats. 2 little knocks.
Oh, one arm, oily.
Show us that roach, hold it up.
A twin roach. I've had 7 now. Or is it 8? Oh, those are pretty. I love roach, they're beautiful.
My father and I each had double figure barbel that evening after it was dark. We did also fish a few other stretches of the Trent last summer. This is my dad and I fishing the day ticket stretch at Gunthorpe. We didn't catch any barbel, but my dad did catch a few nice roach. This is another summer tactic, swim feeding maggot. I used to buy about 16 pints of maggots and go down and fish the Hampshire Raven. I haven't bought that many maggots lately, but I did have a little go here swim feeding maggots to see if I could catch a barbel. The idea here is to use about a size 10 or 12 hook to put quite a few maggots on the hook and to keep casting the feeder to the same place to get the barbel going. Here I'm into a fish on my maggot rod. If we look back at J.W. Martin, the Trent otter, he would have kept thousands of lobworms nice and clean in nice clean moss and baited up over a few days prior to going barbel fishing, and then he would expect to find a lot of barbel in his swim. On the River Trent, anglers use a long leader between their swim feeder and their hook bait. I'm perhaps using less than other people do. Remember, if you've had a long fight from a barbel, to let it recover in the landing net. I played mine quite quickly, so I returned this virtually straight away. I returned it from the landing net just in case it was worn out and in case it needed to recover. I was into another fish straight away on my other rod. This was a taking line and felt a better fish. In the height of summer, as the sun goes down, it's normally a really good time for the barbel. It's a bit bigger, but still quite thin after spawning. One important thing for the barbel angler to recognise is a barbel knock. This is normally a really short, powerful, sudden knock and indicates when barbel are in the swim. Here are some examples. If I experience these barbel knocks, I normally follow it by touch sledging because then I can hit the bite. I've done this now. Again, it's as the sun's going down that the barbel come madly on the feed. This is the book that I bought. As I wandered into the bookshop, the lady recognised me and said, "Ah, I've got some old fishing books that you can have a look through if you want." This copy is signed by the author for his friend in 1897. This is probably J.W. Martin's rarest book. There are only about 200 copies printed. There is some foxing on some of the pages, and also the inside of the front cover join is not quite complete, and I've had to put a little bit of tape on that. All the pages in the book are complete. On the whole, considering its age, I think the book is in quite good condition. Also, the pages on the bottom right hand corner are slightly bent. The book is an excellent read and I thoroughly recommend it to anyone. You can buy a reprinted copy today from Medlar Press, I think. There's also some very interesting baits in the book, some that I think I'm going to try. If you haven't subscribed already, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.